first slide just talks about people with disabilities being lonely. Do you guys ever feel lonely?
Yes.
You do? I have a daughter, Brooke, who's just turned 20, and Brooke will be here Saturday if anyone goes to her workshop, but Brooke doesn't have any friends. Brooke's really, really lonely. She can't talk, or she can, but she doesn't talk. She doesn't really say any words, although we know she has occasionally over the years, but she uses a wheelchair. It's hard for her to get around. She can't talk on the phone to any friends if they call. She, because of her cerebral palsy, can't really text on a phone. So people just really dropped her. They don't call her, they don't talk to her, they don't invite her to go out. So she's really, really lonely. She has lots of other disabilities, but those sometimes can get in the way, but really loneliness is her biggest disability. Tell me what you're looking for in a boyfriend or girlfriend or a partner. So let me start with you. If you were interested in someone to be a boyfriend or girlfriend or a partner, what is it? That they have blonde hair? Is it that they have to like sports? What would be important for you to even like that person?
Some of that stuff, and maybe that they're tall and pretty.
So you're looking for someone who's tall and pretty, so some physical kinds of characteristics.
Yeah.
They have to be tall. What about you?
Someone that has the same interests that I have.
So someone that has some of the same interests, so you guys would have something to talk about or think about. What about you, Donna? What would interest you if you were going to be interested in having a boyfriend or girlfriend or a partner?
Cotton bowling.
You would, is that bowling, did you say? So they have to have some similar interests. They like to go bowling because that's what you like to do.
Yes.
What about you, Maggie?
I would like one that's truthful to you and respectful.
Ah, did you guys hear that? So Maggie wasn't maybe as concerned about whether they were tall or beautiful or looked good. It was that they needed to be really respectful and treat you really well and not lie to you.
Right. It don't matter what
Personality.
they look like.
So Maggie wasn't as
I
much
have a
into the looks.
boyfriend.
Oh, you already have a boyfriend. Uh-oh.
He's very respectful.
So is there anything else someone else is looking for if besides being tall or beautiful or being respectful?
Nice,
And
being
honest.
nicer to you and don't turn around and cheat on you.
Oh, wow.
I think we have some stories in this room that we can talk about. And being honest and cheating. Did you have one you wanted to share?
Yes, about going out to dinner and dances.
So you want someone who could go out to dinner and dance? Do they need to pay it? Do they need to take you and pay? Or are you going to pay? No, you want them to pay. Good, right? I want someone, the perfect date for me would be someone that looks like Johnny Depp. I have to say I'm about the looks.
Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, or just Johnny Depp?
Just Johnny Depp, and it doesn't matter what he looks like.
What kind of places can you go to meet other people?
So we got someone right in front here.
Maggie?
To movies?
Is that where you're going to meet people? Where would you meet someone that you might want to ask out?
At the mall.
So you might just walk into someone meeting them?
Like out with friends.
So you might just meet someone hanging out, they could be a friend of a friend, or?
Yes.
Tina?
I go to camp and church.
So you were saying you would meet them at camp and church? And there was back here?
Meet them at ARC dances, socials.
Have any of you tried online dating?
Not me.
So Reed has tried one of the online, but he has to finish putting his profile. And so what does that mean? Do you have to like put up a picture of yourself?
Yeah, and I'm waiting for my mom to buy the rights to my senior formals.
Because that's the picture you want to post of what you look
Yeah.
like, so other people can look at you and see what you look like?
While
Yeah.
you're doing that, just make sure the other person that you're getting online, make sure the other person is not dangerous, because for all we know, it could be a terrorist or anybody else.
He's right, he's right about that.
You have to be really careful about who's answering your little profile, because they could be dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous too.
They can say one thing and they're different.
Right, they could be like a 55-year-old man and you think they're an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
It could be somebody from Jerusalem, you don't know.
Right.
I'm just throwing that in.
The first thing when you're going to meet somebody is when you walk up to them, you have to have some way to introduce yourself and start that conversation. And we sometimes call that an elevator speech or an introduction. You can use it if you want to meet someone to talk about jobs, if you want to just meet someone sitting next to you in the pew at church, if you're walking around the mall and you see somebody you want to stop and talk with them. You somehow have to have that first conversation with them and that opening line of what you want to say. And that's where a lot of us, when we're interested in someone, like if Johnny Depp was over there, I'd have to figure out what I wanted to say to him so he wouldn't just turn around and walk off. So I wouldn't want to run up and just kiss him or hug him because he doesn't know me, and all of a sudden I'm right there up in his face, and that's not good. So I have to have some way of introducing myself. Yes, Maggie?
By shaking their hands and introducing themselves to you.
So shaking hands is
Start
one
off
great
by
way.
Shake your hand, meet somebody.
So shaking hands is one, but what we want you guys to think about is how might you introduce yourself?
If I was going to, so if I was in the mall and I spotted somebody, first thing I would think of was, where am I going and what am I looking for? And I would go over and say, hi, I'm Val. Do you know anything about whatever it is I'm looking for? And if they say, oh yeah, you can find it at this store down here, then you could, maybe get the conversation going from there. They might say, hey, I'm heading there. Why don't we go together? You can walk together and you can do a little bit of chatting. And then you can find out if it's worth saying, hey, you want to stop and have a drink at the Gino's, whatever, pizza place or whatever. And just chat. You're not looking for a date, you're just getting acquainted.
Okay, so maybe Patrice and Joan, can I call on you all to pretend that you guys are maybe in a dance and you're jamming all around in a bar and you see each other across the room and you'd like, hey, that's a pretty cool looking guy or girl, I want to go up there. So how would you maybe do your introduction? Patrice is dancing.
I'm like Val, I'll do the other way. Would you like to dance?
Sure.
Would you like to get a drink?
No, let's just dance for right now. See? You might not get a yes. So what you noticed was that Joan had to take some guts because she had to kind of just put herself out there. She doesn't know Patrice, and she had to just walk up there and just hope that she wasn't going to say no. And so she took the chance and went up there and said, hey, would you like to dance? And then they were kind of getting along, having a great time dancing, and then she wanted to continue the relationship. So she said, can we go have a drink? And Patrice decided no. She wasn't ready yet. So she wanted to stay out on the dance floor. So we're going to get back to that, what happens when someone says no, a little bit later. But we want you to, on your pieces of paper, on question number 1, it asks, how would you introduce yourself? Because you're going to practice with each other in the room in a couple minutes. So be thinking of what might you say. Maybe one of your pickup lines is something to do with
The conference.
that you're here at a conference.
Yeah.
Like, this is my first time here. How many times have you been at the conference? And there's some creepy little pickup lines sometimes people use, some little introduction lines that are kind of creepy. Does anyone kind of know of one that someone said to you that was just really weird or really lame?
You want to go grab a drink and it's like in the middle of the day.
Are you from
Tennessee?
Yes, you're going 10, I see.
Oh, you're the only 10 I see. Ah.
Tender loving care.
But I want you to fill out number 1. How are you going to introduce yourself? Because you're going to practice that in just a couple minutes.
So how would you start a conversation?
Hi, my name is Mary Beth. I like bowling.
Let's just say,
How could you engage the next person to respond?
Or try to bring them in with something in common. Say, did it hurt? You fell from heaven?
I wouldn't know what to say because
I just say, are your feet tired?
No, ma'am.
You've been running through my mind.
Can I call you on the phone?
I would not be comfortable at this time.
That's a great answer.
we had a couple questions about maybe what you could ask people what they did last weekend. You could ask what their favorite movies are. You could talk about your favorite foods. You could ask this cool question like, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live? And then people might say Paris, and you could say, well, wow, why do you like Paris? So you could get that conversation. You don't want to just be the only person talking, which is what Lily said earlier. Sometimes people won't say anything back. So you don't want to just ask them a question where they just say yes or no. You want them to actually talk and have a conversation with you. So you need to be thinking about what questions you can ask that you actually get a conversation started, and it's not just one way, it's both ways. You could ask what's your best joke, and you could, if you want to be kind of quirky and fun. You could ask, if your friends compared you to an animal, what animal would that be? So what might they say? Would they say you were like a little loving, warm kitty or dog? Would they say you're like a horse, you're an ass? Like what might they say? Or you have a hairy animal like this one? And I want you to meet at least 3 new people you don't know in this room. So you need to take your whatever you wrote down, and you need to now start going and talking to people and introducing yourself and asking your questions. So start moving. Oh, and same with you, Bessie. Doesn't matter. You can just practice.
I like to watch movies.
Hi, my name is Lily. What's your name?
John Maggie.
Very nice to meet you. Do you like justice?
Yes, I love it. I'm enjoying myself.
That's good.
What sports do you like?
Basketball, football.
You have any questions for me?
My name is Joe.
Dana, what are you doing in this place? You're having fun? Are you here for a conference? Yeah? Is this your first time? Or have you been here before? You've been here before?
You watch justice shows? What's your favorite one?
I don't even know, like, when they have by guys and they talk about that, something like that.
Well, I usually be ready to 3 o'clock. We haven't.
I didn't show your mama like you did.
My parents have plenty
And I didn't speak no English.
dressed up to dance with me.
Who wants to just tell me really quickly how that felt? Going and having to introduce yourself to people. Maggie,
Felt real good.
it felt really good? You liked it?
Yes, I felt comfortable with it.
You felt comfortable. What about at this table?
It was
You felt it was awesome?
It was good.
So were you nervous about meeting new people?
Yeah, a little
A
bit.
little bit?
But
How
I
did you
did
get over
good.
it? Did you just say, I'm gonna do this and just psych yourself up and then go over and talk to Joe, or?
Yes.
So, great.
And I found out we got a lot in common.
There you go, Patty.
To tell you the truth, I'm comfortable introducing myself, but not to introducing as in dating.
As a date, yeah. And so that's important for people, that if you think you're already going in because you're looking for a boyfriend or girlfriend, it could be real, you could get, it almost gives you too much pressure.
It's like, it kind of felt a little, I don't want to say awkward, but it kind of did feel a little bit awkward.
And so really, it's good just to not ever go in thinking everyone you meet is going to be your boyfriend or girlfriend. Just going in and just meeting people. And then maybe it will progress. I was talking to over here. What's your first name again, sweetie?
Roxanne.
Roxanne. So Roxanne was saying that she met this guy that was kind of nice, but he had a girlfriend maybe at the time. And then she found out they broke up and they still liked each other. So then he asked her out. So it didn't start off right away when they met each other that there was this love connection. It was just they got to kind of know each other. But then when something happened and he and his girlfriend broke up, they ended up connecting again. So I think, Lily, you're right. It could be sometimes if you're desperate to go find a boyfriend or girlfriend, you could get really nervous every time you have to meet people. And here we want you to be comfortable. We want you just to meet people. Because not only is it how you introduce yourself is how you can meet people who have similar interests and become friends, but that's how you find jobs. You actually find jobs today by getting to know people and building up your network of people that you know who can help you find a job. You guys liked it?
Yeah, and you can make up phone numbers to give.
You could make up phone numbers. It's probably better just to say I'm not really interested, because then they, you know, we'll talk about that in just a minute. if you were at the other end of that and someone gave you a fake number and you really liked that person and you kept calling, would you feel really bad, like that wasn't really their real number, that they weren't honest with you?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you rather have the person say, you're either not my type or I'm not interested?
Or I don't want to be your friend, or, you know, just tell you something.
So Val wants to talk to you a little bit about rejection. What happens when someone says no? You want to share a little bit about if someone says no and they reject you and don't want to date you?
Well, you know, number one, you don't want to take it personal because they don't really know you anyway. But you want to be nice about it. Have any of you ever heard the term, don't burn your bridges?
I have.
Okay.
Val was
This is
asking
one
if
of
you've
those
ever heard the
times.
phrase, don't burn your bridges. No?
I have.
So what does that mean, Val?
It means that, you know, don't say anything that's going to come back and bite you in the rear end 10 years from now.
So that person that you may say something to kind of mean may end up being the person that hires you as a boss a couple years later. You just don't know.
Right, but it also could be, you might not have anything in common right now, but 5 years from now, you might meet again and it'll be like, wow. And then she's gonna say, he said, I don't want anything to do with him. That's why you don't want to burn. Never say anything unkind to anybody. And it won't come back and bite you. It won't come back and bite you when you're looking for a job. It won't come back and bite you when you finally meet the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with, and all she can remember is you said she was fat.
As Val was saying, if someone says no and you ask them out on a date and they say no, she said that don't take it personal because you just really met them. And so you didn't really have that much of a connection. Now what happens if it's someone you've known for a while? Do you just move on with life and just have to...
Stick with them.
That's probably the best thing. You just move on. Who knows? You might reconnect later.
If he's true.
But if it's not to be, it's not going to happen. And don't let it bother you. If you've been together a long time, it takes time to get over it. But you will get over it.
So just know that probably everyone in this room, and even some of us who are married, have been turned down for dates. So it happens to everybody. It's not just you if you get turned down for a date. All of us have been turned. I know it's hard to believe that I have been turned down for a date, but it does happen. People don't even, they don't believe it.
And you never know. You might meet your future spouse in the most unlikely place. You know where I met mine? He interviewed me for his job. I got the job and the guy.
All right.
What if a person, the lady says no, but the guy doesn't want it? And the guy takes it lovingly, but she doesn't. She's taking it a friendship way.
Right.
How would you deal with it then?
So is that where one likes the other one more than the other person? That's tough, because maybe several of us have been in there where we just kind of like the person as a friend and they wanted to take it to the next level. And that's hard because you might lose them as a friend if you say no. And that's a conversation you have to have with them. And just to talk about, this is what I'm looking for in my life right now. And so I'm looking, you may not fit what I'm looking for. It's a hard conversation to have. Because if they're a friend, you don't want to lose that friendship. But you also don't want to lead them on. Because if they think that you're eventually going to say yes, then they just keep getting their hopes up. And you want them to find the person who's right for them. So you may want to say, I think the right person's out there for you, I'm not it.